Hello everyone! Tomorrow is my move-in day for college, and so I've been super busy. The reason this is being filmed on my laptop is because my camera's packed up, and I figured I really need to film this video before I go, so that's what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna do like a part 1 wrap-up, and this is also gonna be my August book haul because I don't anticipate I'll buy any other books in August, so let's just go. I'll start with the book haul. So the first book that I have this month I won in a Twitter giveaway from Victoria Schwab. I never win those things, so really proud. It took like a month and a half to get here, but whatever, free book that's signed. I got a copy of A Darker Shade of Magic, which is one of the only Victoria Schwab books that I don't yet own. I read The Archived and Vicious, so this is just the next one on my list. I know it's about like an alternate universe London, kind of shifting between dimensions. I'm not sure what else it's about, but I love Victoria Schwab's writing and I just hear this is really good, so I'm really excited to have it. This is coming to college with me. The next book I bought, which is the first book I've bought in like a long time, and it's The Martian by Andy Weir. This is about a guy that goes to the first mission to Mars, landing on Mars, and then something happens and he ends up being left on Mars. My biggest fear is outer space, so I think this is just gonna be really interesting for me to read. I am excited about it. I hope it's as good as people say it is. I know there's a movie coming out. I really want to enjoy this, and it will be my first adult sci-fi book, so I'm excited. The next book I also bought, and this is The Opposite of Loneliness by Marina Keegan. This is a nonfiction memoir type book, but it's about this girl who was a Ivy League student, and she wrote a ton of essays and short stories and stuff for the news, and just stories that people loved and enjoyed, and then she was tragically killed in a car accident, so this is just a collection of her essays and things. I've heard this is amazing. I read the introduction by one of her professors and it already made me tear up, so I'm just expecting this will be amazing. I haven't read a lot of nonfiction and this really interests me, so hopefully I will enjoy it. And the last book I have to haul is an advanced copy of a book that I'm beyond ecstatic about. I'm going to show you the real cover of this book before I show you the non-final cover, which is Lumen, I believe it's pronounced. This is the final cover and it is beautiful, but this is the advanced copy they sent me and this is huge. This really didn't interest me that much. It's written by Amy Kaufman, which is one of the girls that did These Broken Stars, so I've already read some of her sci-fi and I was like, eh. But I saw on thetumble.com, this book is written so interestingly. It's like every page is different and it's scribbles and there's pictures and diagrams and it's a story told through like emails and classified web pages and interviews, and well, this part is so trippy, what the heck? I'm just in awe of this book and the design of this book, and I have no idea what it's about other than it's sci-fi, but it is so beyond intriguing. I'm already 12 pages into this. I started it, and right now it's like, you don't know what's happening because it starts with an interview. I'm slowly piecing things together. I will have a review up for this, and I will be buying a finished copy because it's just a gorgeous book once again. This is so beautiful. The blurb on here is from Marie Lu, so I'm like digging it. Those are the books that I bought or received this month. Now let's get into the books that I read in the beginning of this month, or the first half of this month. The first book I read was More Than This by Patrick Ness. This book follows a boy named Seth who drowns and then assumes he's gonna die, but then he wakes up and he's in a deserted world and he thinks it's hell and he has to figure out where he is and why he's not dead and what happened to this world. I think the idea behind this book is genius. Like, I was reading this, piecing it together the more they give you information, and it's like incredibly well thought out, incredibly executed, and I just adore the storyline of this book. It's not what you expect. The writing is just so lovely. I love Patrick Ness. The main character in this is gay, which was like the best addition. It was already good because the plot and the writing was great, but then you add that and I was just blown away. The only thing I didn't like about this is that the characters weren't the most vivid and real and amazing characters. They were just kind of alright. They were enjoyable to read about, but I wasn't finding myself like, that's a good character. But also, I think the ending is just a little bit too ambiguous for me. I liked the way that it wrapped up, but it just stopped in a place where I was left thinking, okay, but then what next? But other than that, I really loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars, and I would highly recommend this. I liked it more than The Knife of Never Letting Go, which everyone seems to rave about. The next book I read, I listened to an audiobook, and that was The Winter's Curse by Marie Rutkowski. This book follows a girl named Kestrel, who is like the general's daughter in this fantasy-ish world. And one day she goes to a slave auction on accident and then ends up buying a slave, and it's all about that. A lot of people love this book. Honestly, I don't understand the hype about this book. It's okay. I really like the writing, I will say that. It's written really well, and I do like the progression of the plot is done very steadily, and I liked it. But other than that, I mean, there's nothing really going for me for this book, and I don't understand why it's so loved. I was bored for a lot of the book. I mean, I did listen to this on audio, so it did go by pretty fast. I was just really unimpressed with the plot. It wasn't the most original. I wasn't clinging on to the pages. Maybe it was a bit overhyped for me because I was just reading it like, okay, but where's the action? Where's the things that I care about? What? My goodness. I am filming.
I love you.
No, she doesn't.
I saw that.
A big factor of this book is that I didn't like the romance in it and the way that the relationship progressed, because it seemed very Stockholm Syndrome-like, which was irritating. It wasn't really insta-love, but I just didn't believe in the relationship, and kind of it's that YA thing where you know there's two characters and they're gonna get together inevitably, so that just kind of was in the back of my head, and I didn't feel anything special with these two characters being together. And also, this book is very war-themed, and a lot of the book is just war plotting and, like, confusing but useless information about spies and the general and all this different stuff that I just did not care about. And I guess I was looking for this to be more of a fluffy girl saves guy kind of book, but that was not what it was. I'm not impressed with this. I'm not gonna continue the series. I gave it 2.5 stars. The next book I read was Dumplin by Julie Murphy. This book's about a girl named Willow Dean who is a fat girl living in Texas, and she decides to enter a beauty pageant that her mom is the director of just for fun. I have a full review up for this on my channel if you would like to go check that out. I'll link it down below. Really quick, just gonna mention what I thought about it. I thought it was written really great. I love Julie Murphy. I love how relatable it is because it is about a bigger girl like myself, and so I found those parts of the book to be really interesting. However, I felt like this book needed to be more extravagant. Some of the details of her appearance weren't explained very well, and sometimes it got kind of lost on you that she is a bigger narrator. I wish that was more emphasized, as well as the beauty pageant. It wasn't really as big as a deal as the synopsis makes you think it is, so I just wish this book was fleshed out a little bit better, and also the romance in this is a bit insta-lovey, but otherwise I did enjoy it, but I gave it 3 stars. The next book I read is One by Sarah Crossan. Oh man. I did not do a review on this, which I don't know why, because I should have, but now I ran out of time. This book is written in verse, and it is about conjoined twins. This book follows Tippy and Grace, and just them switching from being homeschooled to going to public school and making friends and having to deal with drama. I adored this because I've never read anything like it ever. First of all, it's about conjoined twins, which I didn't even consider as a book topic, and then it's written in verse. Basically my 2 favorite things in the world. I was getting American Horror Story flashbacks as I was reading this because it's just such an interesting and different vibe than most books have. My biggest complaint about this book, though, is that it's told from Grace's perspective, which I thought was a bit awkward and even a little bit spoilery, because it's about 2 people that are one person, so why would it focus on just one person's voice? I think this book should have been told in 3rd person or alternating dual POV. I thought these girls were just great to read about. They have really real emotions and their story is addicting. It was realistic. I just wish that there was a little bit more description of like struggles that they have in their daily life. It kind of flies through the book a little bit because it is so fast-paced, and I wish we could have just expanded on a couple of problems the girls encounter throughout their day just to kind of put the reader in a better mindset of what it's like to be a conjoined twin. I highly recommend this. It comes out in September, so please go grab a copy. It is worth the wait, worth the money, worth it. I loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars. And the last book I read, I tried to read on audiobook, but then ended up just finishing it in text form, which was Mosquito Lands by David Arnold. This book follows a girl named Mim, whose parents are divorced, and one day she decides that she wants to go visit her mom after hearing a bit of information about her that made her really scared for her mom. So she decides to get on a bus and trek like 900 miles to her mom, and it's about her adventures on the way there, finding herself mentally and just going on this journey. This book is written so nicely. It takes a lot for me to notice an author's writing style, and this is definitely 2 thumbs up. From me, I really liked David's writing style. I don't know if he's written other books, but I would check those out. Yep, this is his debut novel, so I'm gonna be keeping my eye on him and checking out his other books if or when they come out. Mim is a great main character because you can tell she's mentally ill and she's a little bit crazy, but she's so rational and intelligent and relatable, and it's so great. Like, Mim is just a perfect protagonist. She's hilarious, she's smart, and she's just so interesting to read about. I couldn't put it down. One of the main things I liked about this book is that it includes a disabled character. I think he has Down syndrome. It doesn't say exactly, but I think that's what it hints at. I really liked that addition. I thought it was genius. It adds kind of a moral of people with disabilities aren't stupid or annoying, because he's a genuinely good character, and I really grew to love every single character in this book. My only problems with this book is that I felt like it was a little bit unrealistic as far as road trip novels go. I'm not the hugest fan of road trip books because I find sometimes that they can just be a little bit too flying from the seat of your pants, unrealistic. Would a teenager really be allowed to do that type thing? And this went a little bit in that direction. There were a couple of events where I kind of stopped and went. And also I thought the ending was just a little bit too anticlimactic and wrapped up a little bit too conveniently for my taste. I'm sure other people might disagree if they can relate to Mim more than I could, but I did like this book a lot. I think it's beautiful. I will be thinking about it for a while. This cover is just great. Loving it. And I gave this book 4.5 stars. So thank you all for watching. The next time you see a video from me, I'm going to be in a dorm room, which is horrifying. Thank you all so much for attending this video session. That was weird. I'll see you all in my next video, which hopefully isn't gonna be in like 2 weeks. Goodbye!